Well, behavioral finance is very important to Athenian Private Client Group. It's part of the human element program that Spiros and his team roll out for their clients. Today, we're going to explain that a little bit more, explore the idea, and talk about why it's so important for financial planning and why it's so important for Athenian.
It's time to heed the call for financial freedom. This is the Audible Advisor podcast with Spiros Vasilakos of Athenian Private Client Group.
Well, hello and welcome in. I am Ben George. He's Spiros Vasilakos. He is the president of the Athenian Private Client Group. And Spiros, we've talked about it before, and I know you talk about it with anybody that comes into your office, but the behavioral element of finance is so important to you.
Yeah, it is. With today, with what's going on and with the markets, and we have turbulent times, and people are trying to figure out, how is it affecting their portfolio. One of the things that we really truly focus on is really more of the psychology of finance. And, when we begin our process with our clients, that's where we start. A lot of advisors will probably start, with a questionnaire. They'll, want to know what their risk tolerance is, and, maybe ask the question of, what's the outcome they want from the financial plan or the portfolio management that they're going to, work with the client. So what we do is we first look at the psychology of, we want to know a little bit about their background. The risk tolerance is great, but, at the end of the day, you want to know, what caused them to be that risky, if they are risky, if they're more conservative. And so we want to know a little bit more of a background. So we really go back, from the time that even when they were younger, we noticed that a lot of people that invest, their money, the reason why they invest a certain way is because, maybe, they've seen their parents, lose money, or maybe, the markets at the time when they were growing up were volatile. And so people were, losing money and, so, they were fearful. So, the psychology of finance, I think is really important. I think in our industry, it's changing. And I think it's going to be the future.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. And I'm looking forward to learning more about how you kind of approach it and the role that it plays in investing. Again, if you have any questions, 727-754-8418 is the number to always get in touch with Spiros at Athenian Private Client Group. So when you talk about kind of sitting down with someone and you talk about getting into this, what does that consist of? Is you go through a questionnaire, right? You have a bunch of questions that you run through anybody that you sit down with.
Yeah, we actually we have a 5-minute survey that we love to give our clients, and if they're a couple, we give them, each one of them has an individual survey. And what we have found is that there are certain types of behavioral approaches that people take when it comes to when they're starting to invest, and actually when they are invested, when things are, disarray, or if things are, really great, we notice that people do certain things, and these are biases that we see. And so what this report does, it helps us, one, to help customize a portfolio. One, two, if they are a new client and they're, we're doing a comparison, we want to make sure that portfolio that we're reviewing, we're actually analyzing it, not just numbers and crunching the numbers. It's more of, okay, does this meet the client's psychological approach towards investing? And so, I mean, it's a different way of looking at it. We've actually done this with a lot of the newer clients that we've brought on. And you'd be surprised. I mean, one, what it actually has done is actually bring couples together. A lot of people were saying, well, maybe it's just going to, bring them apart because they think about money differently. But actually, it's brought them together and understanding, how they feel differently about money and how they can actually work together. So, when we go over this report, it's really an eye opener, but I can tell you again, this is really the new way of investing, and a lot of our clients that we're doing that with now, and new clients that are coming in, this is one of the reasons why they work with us, because it's new and it's something they've never seen before.
Well, I'm curious what you've kind of found through this time exploring the human element of people's behavior with investing. What have you seen as a wealth advisor? How do people approach investing typically?
Oh, it's one question we ask is, what do you feel about money? What does money mean to you? And what we found is that the answers that we normally get is time. It gives them time, right? So then we ask that question. Okay, we expand a little bit more and say, well, okay, if it gives you time, what does time give you? And it's really flexibility. And that's what they want. I mean, I'm there's many books out there, but one book that I recommend a lot of advisors, even individuals that are looking to invest. It's called the One Page Financial Plan. We use it a lot for our clients, and people say, "Well, financial plan, one page. I mean, how much could you really get out of that?" Well, think about it. How many people have done financial plans that that are like yay thick, right? And they just put it on the bookshelf, right? And they never see it. They never review it. They never look at it. Well, this one page plan, which Carl Richards is the author of the book and a financial advisor. And what he mentions is, that one page, you're always constantly going to review because it's one page. I mean, you can't really get tired of it. So, we use that when we're sitting down with our clients, and for clients that are coming in, we actually offer that as a compliment, as complimentary. Whether they work with us or not, we will provide that one page plan, at least for them to look at it. And so what we found is that people really don't have the time to invest their money or do it themselves, but they want to hire somebody that they're just going to be able to do that. So it gives them the flexibility to spend time with their family, maybe their business, travel, do the hobbies that they want to do if they're retired. So that's what we really have found by doing this 5-minute survey. And also, putting together that one-page financial plan.
Yeah, one play, keeping it simple is often the best approach to things, right? In all areas of life, and this is no different. When you've gone through this behavioral aspect of things, and I'm sure people are wondering, okay, well, what my behaviors are. How does that actually affect my investment decisions? What have you seen? How do those align?
It affects it tremendously. People's background and how they view money and how they view investing could really tremendously be a detriment to their portfolio. We saw this in the financial crisis, and I can tell you, we had to be. You have to have the knowledge of psychology and finance to understand this. But we were jumped into a situation where you had people that were losing, at least if not more than 50% of their life savings. And if you were going to be retired, either that year or in the next couple of years after that, you were panicking because you were saying, okay, do I need to continue working? Can I retire? What is it that I need to do? And so we, as an advisor, first thing I did was call my clients and say, look, let's look at your time horizon and see how long you have. That's the first thing. And the second question we ask is, okay, if you have a short time horizon, how much time do you have to at least stay where you are and have this money hopefully get back to where it was or get close to it. And so what people, understood was that, it's all about the time. So we need time in order for this to get back to hopefully where it was. And to be honest with you, a lot of my clients actually listened. And prior to those conversations, we set those expectations. But, to be honest with you, we had some that actually just liquidated out of the market and said, look, we're out. And, when, we saw after that a 12-year upswing of the market, and they came back and said, well, we should have listened. And to be honest with you, they never went back into the market again because they were fearful. So now imagine now you as a young person seeing the financial crisis, right? And now you're saving money and you're looking to invest. You're going to remember that. And so you're going to be a little bit more conservative. And so our job as financial advisors, we have to educate our clients, and also let them know that we're here to put a game plan together for them. And let's try to be consistent and disciplined, because one thing that we've noticed is, fear, greed is really one of the worst things that you can have when you're putting together a portfolio or making decisions on investments, because you're going to make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, it's human to make those mistakes, especially with money, and especially in an area where our emotions, our behaviors impact a lot of those decisions, which isn't a good thing. And that's kind of where your role comes in as a wealth advisor, right? Is to help people kind of detach themselves from those emotions.
Yeah, today people are not looking for that cookie cutter financial planning approach. You really have to really get to know the client. It's no longer, okay, let's take a look at what you currently have numbers wise, what accounts you have, and let's just put a game plan strategy together, and here are the products that we're going to recommend for you. Well, if you don't know the emotional part of an individual's approach towards investing, you really can't make that decision. And then it really does become a liability after, because, when the markets become, out of whack, or, they become very turbulent and volatile, and you have the client coming in all, nervous and panicking. If you did your job and understanding how they felt about money prior to, putting that portfolio together or managing that portfolio, you would be able to actually be able to revert back to that report and say, well, you remember when we sat down, here's what we discussed, and here's what we found on how your psychological approach towards money is. We're there right now. So let's, we put this game plan together. Let's at least fulfill that game plan and see where it goes. And, a lot of people, to be honest with you, we've done that with them. And, they really thank you, because if they didn't have that, they would probably make a lot of mistakes, and they would have lost a lot more than just, their money. I mean, they probably would have, maybe had to pay more taxes. They might have had to, have to do other things. And so by doing this, it just makes clients feel more understanding that you care about them and you're out there for their best interest.
Yeah, that role of being a wealth advisor goes well beyond just helping somebody pick investments, right? It's about all the pieces of the puzzle to make sure they're financially stable, they have the confidence in retirement to step away from work and not worry about having to go back. And there's a lot of pieces that go into it, but behavior plays a key role in what Athenian Private Client Group does. Again, if you want to learn more, AthenianPrivateClientGroup.com or 727-754-8418. For anyone, Spiros, maybe watch this video either on YouTube or on your website, as we're going to put it there as well. What's that first step for anybody that wants to kind of maybe figure out how their behavior is affecting them and how your program can help them? What's the first thing they need to do?
Listen, our first step, and we're gonna add this to the podcast landing page as well. The first step is, we want to really build that trust with you. So you're going to be directed towards video where we're going to talk to you about our process. And so our process is really, again, we sit down with you. We want to get to know you. It's a discovery meeting. We want to get to know you. But prior to that, we also want to send you that 5-minute survey once you've committed to an appointment. And in that appointment, we're gonna go over your goals and things that you're looking to do. But we're also going to go over the report and understand, how you feel about money. And then from there, we will, the next step would be, once you say, yeah, let's move forward. This is what we want to do, based on that report and that psychological, behavioral approach, survey that we give you, we're going to be able to customize, not just a portfolio for you, but also a financial plan that it's going to be constantly changing. And because, things happen in life. I mean, I don't want to bring up, but, last couple of days, I mean, we've seen a lot of things happen. We're in a geopolitical situation right now. We're in the midst of an election. And so, there's a lot of things that are happening, and psychologically, it could affect how you are going to, plan your finances, or maybe make changes in your portfolio or your retirement. And so we want to be there for you, and we want to make sure that this survey and this report that we give you will actually complement and make sure that it's going to, meet your financial goals. So that's really the process from there. And then after that, it's just, let's monitor, let's implement, as changes happen, and just continue staying focused and working with you, on both ends, whether it's numbers or psychologically, which is what we prefer. We're going to be there for you every step of the way.
Again, AthenianPrivateClientGroup.com or 727-754-8418. And to your point, behavioral finance is more important now than it's ever been. And there's a reason why so many people are leaning into that approach to planning and investing. And again, if you want to learn more about Spiros and what he does, we'd love to hear from you. So please reach out. Spiros, thanks for your time. Thanks for walking us through this. I know this is so important to what you do, and I'm glad we have a little more clarity on it.
Thank you, Ben. And, I want to tell everybody, just keep moving forward towards financial independence. And I'm sure everything's going to work out. And God bless everyone. Thank you.
The information presented is for educational purposes only and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any securities. All investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Be sure to consult with a tax professional before implementing any investment strategy. Investment advisory services offered through Singe Advisory Group LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.